Hare Krishna. So we'll start the session by paying our obeisances to Srila Prabhupada and our Guru Maharaj. So we are on chapter 3rd, and in chapter 3rd, so far we have discussed verse 1 to 16, and today we like to cover verse 17 to 24. So we'll move on to the next slide. So the section basically talks about of a person who is in knowledge. Now, this particular paragraph is very important for us to understand, assimilate deeply. So Shanmukh-ji, will you like to read this?
One who is in full knowledge doesn't have material desires or attachment. So he does not need to do prescribed duties for his purification. Still, he performs obligatory duties prescribed by the scriptures, setting the example for those who are less knowledgeable.
Now, the first sentence, okay? One who is in full knowledge doesn't have material desires or attachment. Now, this sentence in itself is full in itself. One who is in full knowledge. So, we have to all understand, what does full knowledge mean? Right? Full knowledge means the knowledge that we are soul, we are not this body, we are eternal servants of Krishna, and Krishna is the absolute truth. These three things, are the basis of that full knowledge, right? Our constitutional position that we are not this body, we are a spirit soul, we are eternal servant of Krishna, and Krishna is the absolute truth, right? If we are in full knowledge, it is by default understood that we will not have any material desires or any kind of attachment. Now, that material, that so-called knowledge does not mean material knowledge or Vedic knowledge or intelligence, material intelligence, right? The knowledge which here we are talking about is based on those four factors, right? Knowing that we are soul, right? We are not this body. Our constitutional position is servant of Krishna, and Krishna is absolute truth, right? If we are in that full knowledge and we act thereafter, then all our actions can never be dovetailed toward acquiring anything material, right? Because then if we are living in that consciousness, then it is understood by default that we will not have any material desire or attachment, right? So that is very, an humbling statement for all of us, right? That knowledge, what does knowledge mean? And thereafter, so he does not need to do prescribed duties for his purification, right? So now the question comes, why do we do prescribed duties? Right?
The examples, right examples.
Yeah. To set the right example is what we are going to discuss. But primarily, if you remember what we learned from purification.
Yes. Yeah.
The aim of doing prescribed duty was to purify, right? Yes. With a purified heart, then we are able to get the knowledge. That was, and then thereafter, So, but person who is already in full knowledge, he is not attached, he has no material desire, then definitely prescribed duties are not required for him, because the purpose is already served, right? Still, he performs obligatory duties prescribed by scriptures. Why?
People will follow him.
Yeah, to set example for those who are less knowledgeable, right? So when we see the great, devotees, who are senior, sincere, who have dedicated their lives, they are engaged in certain activities. And they are engaged in certain activities to set an example for all of us, right? Because who are less knowledgeable means we all are less knowledgeable. Less knowledge means anything less than the full knowledge, right? So if we all know, like we are all attached, right? We have material desires. We are not free, although we are, walking towards that, right? But we are still not there. So we have discussed that briefly, that all of us need teachers in our lives. We need someone to help us, right? Similarly, we need teachers in our spiritual life also, right? Who can guide us, can lead by example, right? So that is the basically short gist of this section. Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide. Yeah, so who will like to read these words?
Try, Sumitji.
Yeah,
Is okay.
please.
Hare Krishna. Yastvātmaratiryeva syād ātmatruptascha mānavah ātmanyeva ca samtustaha tasya karyam na vidyate.
Very nice, thank you. Someone will like to read the translation?
But for one who takes pleasure in the self, whose human life is one of self-realization, and who is satisfied in the self only, fully satiated, for him there is no duty.
Right. Thank you very much, Rajesh. So here, 3 compound words are important: Atmarati, Atmatripta, and Atmasantusta. These 3 words are used. They are used for whom? For someone who is self-realized, right? Now, Rati means attraction or attachment. Now, this attraction and attachment is not for any external sense object, but the person is looking inwards, right? Looking inwards towards spirituality, right? Towards his connection with Paramatma, with absolute truth. And Tripta means one who delights within, Atma Tripta, who is, and Santusta means one who is fully satisfied within himself, right? So for that person, there is no duty. Now, why there is no duty for that person? Because, he's not dependent on anything external. He's not dependent on anything from anyone. So like, for example, this is a material, like horizontal level is a material platform and vertical level is a spiritual platform. So if person is not dependent on anyone, like for example, let me explain. A child is dependent on parents, right? When a child is born, right? Child needs care of parents, right? And thereafter, when the child grows, he's obligated to take care of his or her parents, because it has to be a reciprocal relationship, right? So if we are taking something from someone, we have to reciprocate by giving back. Similarly, it is to do with demigods also, right? If you are living a life of sense gratification, then you have to be thankful to them, right? Otherwise, you are doing sinful activity. If you have taken something from someone and you are not paying back, then it is not an ethical conduct. But for a person who is not dependent on anyone, who is satisfied inwards, he is not seeking anything externally. then in that position, he is free from external obligations. Right? Now, Krishna is talking about that person who actually is on a transcendental platform, who is on a totally transcendental platform, right? So let us see what does it mean if we move on to the next slide. Right now, the verse talked about person who is Atmarati, Atpratipta, and Atmasantushta. That for that person, because he is a self-realized person, he need not work, right? But then also, what Krishna will say, even if he need not work, he should be working for what? As an obligation, right? Just as an, he has no purpose to fulfill in the discharge of his prescribed duties. This is verse number 80. Nor has he any reason not to perform such activity. He was not obliged, because we just discussed a self-realized person is not obliged. But because he is transcendental, he should not be fearful or afraid that he will be bound if he does any work. Right? He does not do anything because he is dependent on anyone. No, that is not the purpose. That is what we have to understand. That a transcendental person, he has no duty to perform. But at the same time, he has no reason not to perform. He is not performing for sense gratification or material enjoyment or even purification. No. He's doing just to set an example. Right? He has no taste for material pleasures, no particular purpose for performing, right? At the same time, there is no reason for not performing such work. He need not depend on anyone in this material world. This is very important for us to understand. That one who has spiritual intelligence, right? We just saw one who is in full knowledge, doesn't perform prescribed actions with desires, but perform them without attachment to results to set the right example for others. Is this clear to all of you? 17th and 18th words. Krishna is saying that a person who is, Atma Rati, Atma Tripta, Atma Santusht, for him there is no duty, right? Did you all understand why there is no duty? Because he is already, transcendental. He is pure. That is why he has no duty. He need not perform any prescribed duty. He is already pure. But because he is pure, because he is transcendental, he should not be afraid that he will be bound if he performs any duty. Right? For example, Arjun was saying, I don't want to perform my duty because this will be sinful. I will create so much of, destruction. My family tradition will be spoiled. How will I be able to enjoy? And all those things, right? What should I do? I should go to the forest, right? Krishna said, don't become a pretender. Don't take false renunciation, right? And then Arjun starts talking about, Sthit Pragya. How can I be Sthit Pragya? So is it not better if I become a Sthit Pragya, right? So what happens is once we know some initial things of spiritual, there are, has anyone heard about Falgu Vairagya and Shamshan Vairagya? There are two types of Vairagya. Feeling of renouncing everything. When you see Shamshan, the cremation ground, you develop a kind of Vairagya. Oh, nothing is useful in this world, we should just go. And then there is one type of vairag which comes after you are just introduced to spirituality. You think now I am already in the Golok Vrindavan cloud, right? So now Arjun also thought same thing. So Krishna said, fine, Arjun, if a person thinks that he is in full knowledge, if he is qualified for renunciation, even then he should perform the work to set an example. Because in that condition, what is the fear? Right? What is the fear if he is already in transcendental position? Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide.
One question.
Ah.
So if you look at verse 2.55, so we have that Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha Sthita Prajna. So is there any relation between that Atmarati and Sthita Prajna?
See, Atmarati, who is Sthitapatya?
Prajahati Yada Kama.
No. Not from a practical example. Who are Sthitapatya?
Okay, who is not bewildered by the dualities of the world, and he doesn't. He takes both pride and praise and maybe the blame equally. So that kind of person is called Sthitapatya.
Basically, Sthitapatya is someone who is self-realized.
Self-realized. So Jivan.
And here also Krishna is talking about same thing.
Same thing.
Right? Self-realized person. All who is Atmarati, Atmatipta, Atmasan, they are characteristic of self-realized person.
Yes.
So now Krishna is saying that a self-realized person need not be afraid of performing the prescribed duty for a higher principle.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so who will recite this verse?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Tasmadasakta satatam karyam karma samachara asakto hyacharan karma paramapnoti purushaha.
Thank you, Lavanya ji. So who will like to read the translation?
Therefore, without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. For by working without attachment, one attains the supreme.
Harshad was sick and he fall down and he got some stitches. So we pray that you get well soon, Harshad. Take care. So Tasmad Asakta Satatam. Tasmad means word comes
therefore.
Therefore. It comes very often in Gita. Tasmad. Therefore. Asakta. Asakti, right? Asakti is detachment. Satatam means always, right? Karyam karma samachara. Do your duty, your work. How do you do? Asakta. Without being detached. Asakti acharan karma. That is how you should be doing your prescribed duty. And if you do that prescribed duty in that way, then what will happen? Paramavapnoti purusha. Then you will attain the supreme. So, if we do our obligatory work as prescribed in the scriptures with detachment, then it will lead us to supreme liberation. Right? See, why? It is not that instantly, but it is a gradual path, because prescribed duty help us to get purified, then we'll get knowledge. It is a gradual path towards for this verse, right? And see, Krishna has already spoken verse number 3.9, right? Krishna has already spoken verse number 3.10. And when he is talking about karma here, he is not talking it independent of doing something whimsical or for sense gratification or material enjoyment, right? That work we are doing for Vishnu, Krishna, right? As a yajna, right? Which will lead us to Param Avapnoti Purusha, right? That is very important. Better stay in the society and act. Krishna has already talked about that. Inaction is unnatural, right? Don't try to become a pretender, right? Better to do your work. 3.7. Right? Here also he's reiterating the same thing. And in the next slide, Prabhupada, this is in the purport. Who will like to read this?
A person, therefore, acting for Krishna or in Krishna consciousness under proper guidance and without attachment to the result of the work is certainly making progress towards the supreme goal of life. Arjuna is told that he should fight in the battle of Kurukshetra for the interest of Krishna because Krishna wanted him to fight. To be a good man or a non-violent man is a personal attachment, but an act on behalf of Supreme is to act without attachment for the result. That is perfect action of the highest degree recommended by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna.
Right. I think so. This statement, this purport of Prabhupada does not need any explanation, right? It is very, very clear. Now, this photograph of Prabhupada was when he went to North America at the age of 70 to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. Now, when Prabhupada met his spiritual master gave him few instructions. His spiritual master said, you can speak English, then why don't you go and preach our wisdom, our Vedic science, Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, Vaishnavism to the people in West. First instruction. Second instruction Prabhupada was given that you write very nicely. And that instruction, was given by whom? Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Now, for now, we have not discussed so much about Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. But, he was a brilliant scholar. Like, he was someone who knew entire Bhagavad Gita when he was just 7 years old. Entire Bhagavad Gita. He was, a scholar of par excellence. And that scholar is telling this to Prabhupada, that if ever you get money, please write books and distribute books. Right? So these were the two basic instructions which were given to Srila Prabhupada. Right? And then what did he do? At the age of 70, he was comfortably doing his sadhana where? In Vrindavan. Aram se he was doing his bhajan there. Then, but what did he do? People, they plan that when I get old, I will go to Vrindavan. And here is an old person who is leaving Vrindavan in the old age. Why is he leaving Vrindavan in the old age? To fulfill the mission of his spiritual master. To work on the orders of his spiritual master. Because working on the order of spiritual master is more important than the so-called superficial activities which we think ourselves to be, in a transcendental mode. So that is very important for all of us to understand for our own life. That sometimes we think, no, I think so, better I do this thing. That will be better for me, rather than following the instructions which are coming down in the disciplic succession. But here, Prabhupada is an example for us. What did he do? Just to fulfill the instructions in the order of his spiritual master. And how did he go? He didn't take a business class ticket of Lufthansa.
By ship, I think.
Cargo ship.
By not ship, like cruise. By which ship?
Cargo ship.
Cargo ship. And you know what happened when he was going in the cargo ship?
3 heart attacks.
2 heart attacks.
He had 2 heart attacks. Old person, first time, because it was not very good weather at that time. So it was a lot of turbulence was there, right? And there he didn't have a play card person standing with a taxi. Yes, sir. I am being sent by this hotel person to pick you up. Who was waiting for him there? He says,
Robbers.
white elephants. You know, no one knew him, right? What for did he go? On what basis did he go? He had faith on the instructions of his spiritual master. That was the only thing which drove him from Vrindavan, Radha Damodar temple, to the streets of New York. The faith in Krishna's holy name. He writes that. I don't know why I am going there. When he was in Jalduta, in the ship, he was writing, I don't know why I am going there. I am only going to follow the orders of my spiritual master. And only thing which I have is the holy names of Krishna. With that faith, with that mission in his mind, he went, you know. So that is very important. To be a good man or a non-violent man is a personal attachment. Sometimes we think, no, yaar, you know, sometimes when we are requested to do some management task, administration for spiritual societies like ISKCON, yaar, we think, yaar, isme bahut bawal hai. There's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of this and that we will have to do. And, you know, I will not be able to chant my rounds and read scriptures and, you know, go in you know, in the bhajan kuti and samadhi and chant some mantras nicely, and I will be not in peace, and why should I do? And here is Srila Prabhupada, who was doing everything. And not to talk about management, he went by cargo ship to US. Why? So that is why our personal attachment or detachment is not important in the spiritual life. That is very, very important. This verse of Bhagwan Shri Krishna is very important for all of us to, you know, really take deep into our heart, right? But to act on behalf of the Supreme. Now, how you will act on behalf of Supreme? Krishna is not going to give you direct instructions. Then who is going to give you instruction? Who is external form of Krishna? Your spiritual master.
Spiritual master.
Your spiritual master is the external manifestation of Paramatma, right? It is he who gives you instruction. That is why it is very important in spiritual life to take Diksha, initiation. Initiation means your spiritual life is now initiating, starting. Before that, all what we are doing is like, you know, just becoming qualified to start our spiritual life, right? So we have to act behalf of the Supreme, is to act without attachment for the result. And that too, we should not be attached to the result. Working in Krishna consciousness also does not mean that, you know, you should be attached to a result. That, you know, if I'm going to distribute books on the street, I should get 20 people who will take, oh, ma'am, you are doing, oh, sir, you are doing such a charitable service. They will also say, oh, rascal, why you are wasting my time? Don't come in my way. Don't disturb me. And then you should also be thankful to Krishna. Thank Krishna. Why? For humbling me. Right? That is very important. Because Shanmukh-ji, in earlier days, in our Vedic culture, in a brahmachari life, we used to live in Gurukul. And in Gurukul, there was one important activity of going and asking bhiksha.
Yes.
So book distribution, Prabhupada said, Prabhupada himself, you know, when before taking sannyas or even after taking sannyas, you know, he used to write, he used to edit, he used to collect donation for pages, printing. And then he used to distribute also by himself. And so Prabhupada said, please distribute these books to others. So when we go out for distribution, book distribution, it is as good as going out to take bhiksha. What is the purpose of bhiksha? Rajesh ji, what is the purpose of bhiksha?
Bhiksha is to keep us grounded. We
Yes.
believe that our aham.
Right? Not to, not to basically collect money. No, that is not the purpose of bhiksha. Guru is not dependent on our bhiksha, right? Guru's intention is something else. Sometimes we don't understand Guru's instruction, right? The instruction of Guru is very important. Guru's aim is to help us go back to Krishna. That is his aim. And that is why he gives us instruction. That is the perfect action of the highest degree recommended by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna, right? So without being attached to the fruits of activities, one should act as a matter of duty. As a duty means acting on the instructions as given by your Guru Maharaj, your spiritual master, right? And what is Prabhupada also doing here? He's cooking, right? So we move on to the next slide. His Holiness Bhaktu Charu Swami Maharaj. He is also what is? He's preparing some bhoga for Krishna. Again, So activity doesn't cause bondage, but mentality causes bondage. Right? That is very important for us to.
Mentality is consciousness.
Consciousness, So Krishna is saying, Arjun, your fighting will not cause. Maybe you going in the forest will cause bondage. So do what your spiritual master is saying. See, Arjuna would have been in very comfortable position. He would have gone to forest aram se and he would live life comfortably there, asking bhiksha and living there. But Krishna said, so now Shanmukh-ji, you tell me, if you are requested to manage a society, some affairs, management, administration, do this, do running here and there, manage this temple, go to politicians, go to this and do buy some cement and this and temple has to be construction. Or if Shanmukh-ji is asked, Shanmukh-ji, you learn the Bhagavad Gita shlok and recite in comfortable Kirti Gardenia. What is more comfortable to you, Shanmukh-ji? Tell me.
Reciting.
Right. But what happens is, sometimes that is where we. So which is what Krishna is trying to say here. That don't think what is satisfying to you should be done. Follow what I am saying or my representative is saying. Okay. So moving on to the next slide. So who will like to read this?
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Karmanaiva hi sansiddhim astita janakadayah lokasangrahamevapi sampasyan kartumarhasi.
Very nice, Lavanya. You'll read the translation also?
Sure. Kings such as Janaka attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Therefore, just for the sake of educating the people in general, you should perform your work.
Right. Karmanye eva hi samsiddhim. Then sthita janak adaya. Sthita means situated. Janak adaya. Not only Janak and other kings. Loka sangraham evapi. Why? For the people in general. Sampashyan kartum arhasi. So for them you should set an example. What example?
Performing prescribed duties.
Performance of prescribed duties. Right? Kings such as Janaka attained perfection solely by performance of prescribed duties. Although a devotee may not have any interest in this world, right? He still works. Why? To teach the public how to live and how to act. So the intelligent, experienced, sincere devotees in Krishna consciousness, they should act in such a way that others can follow. Right? This is what is explained in this verse, and that is very important for us to understand. And so, who was Janak?
Sita's father.
Father of Janaki, Sita Maiya. He lived a very exemplary life. He was, fully self-realized person, fully 100%. So now he is wearing this golden crown, golden chains, and sleeping on a luxurious bed, right? And sometimes people ask, I am working in an IT company. What should I do? Now, Radheshyam Prabhu once said, I think so, working in IT company is not as difficult as the Kurukshetra war. Do you agree, Shanmukhji?
Yes, yes.
Kurukshetra war was much more difficult, right? But Krishna wants us to leave our comfortable positions. Krishna wants us to take challenges on behalf of him. And Krishna will tell that to Arjun. Arjun, stand up and fight. I have already done this. You just become my instrument. Just become my instrument and fight. Krishna wants us to take up responsibilities in the Krishna consciousness movement. We should be responsible. Because, see, in 7.3, what is said? Manushyanam sahesitu kasyat yatati siddhayam yatatam api siddhanam. What? Out of thousands and thousands people, only one person will walk towards self-realize. And out of many who are self-realized will know you in tattvata.
Only one.
Only one will know you in as it is. So, to become a devotee, to know this, only these things what you people are knowing or what I am knowing is very rare. So we actually are all meant to be exemplary in our life and to become leaders. Like Parikshit Maharaj, Yudhishthir Maharaj, Amrish Maharaj, right? They are all exemplary people. Janak Adayaha. Adaya means and all others, right? So we'll move on to the next slide. Common man follow a great person. This is, who will recite this verse? Someone who has not recited till now?
Let me. Yadyadacharati sreshtaha tattadevetaro janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastadanu vartate.
You can read the translation.
Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards is set by exemplary acts, all the world pursues.
This is a very, very important verse. Yad yad acharati shrestha. Shrestha means? Shresth means?
So I think the people, the honorable people in the society.
Honorable people, leader, respectable people, and leaders. Acharati means acharan. The word has come from acharan.
Practicing. Yeah.
Practicing. He will do a good acharan. The way these leaders will behave, taddat evitaro janaha. That similarly, the general mass of people, itaro janaha. Itaro means normal, common, will follow. Sayat pramanam kurute. Praman means example.
Standard.
You have to set a very good standard, high standard. Lokastad anuvartate. Then the people in general will follow in your footsteps. Anuvartate. So, all of us should try to have a very good standard. And in a way, in our own lives, Prabhupada in this purport will write that, parents, teachers, and the political leaders and kings, they are like teachers. They are like leaders in their own capacity, right? And we should set that example, right? So, and Prabhupada in the purport also writes that. What does he write? That someone, Nikita, you will read. Why you are moving the slides? Just read this.
Lord Chaitanya said that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. One who teaches in that way is called Acharya, or the ideal teacher. Therefore, a teacher must follow the principles of Shastra, scriptures, to teach the common man.
Right. So Prabhupada has quoted Lord Chaitanya saying that a teacher should behave properly before he begins teaching. Right. Now there is an example that a mother came with his son to a teacher. That Guruji, my son has diabetes and he's fond of eating sweets. Can you please ask him to stop eating sweets? So the teacher said, you come after 1 week. So the mother came after 1 week and the teacher said that mother came and requested Guruji again. Guruji said to the son, Beta, you should not eat sweets, right? Then mother sent the child outside. I said, Guruji, if you just have to say this simple thing, why didn't you say it last time? And Guruji said, by that time, even I was eating sweets. So how can I tell him? That will not have any impact, right? So that is sometimes little difficult. So as a teacher, we are also teacher. If we are not a formal teacher in a literal sense, but we are teacher for our kids, right? For someone, who is new to spirituality, right? We are their counselor or mentors, right? So one who teaches in that way is called an Acharya or an ideal teacher. Therefore, a teacher must follow the principle of Shastra to teach the common man, right? Now, what happens in today's world? Who, the general public, for them, who is the role model now?
All these cine actors, maybe the sports stars, politicians.
Now, Shanmukji, you have touched a very sensitive point. See, 50 years back, we had, people were following social leaders, right? Mahatma Gandhi. That is why Gandhi was called as Mahatma, right? And but gradually, we have seen a westernization of our gray matter. What is gray matter, Shanmukji? In our brain, there is a gray matter.
Gray means which we don't have clarity.
No, not that gray. If you dissect the brain, if you dissect the brain literally, if you dissect the brain, you will see there is some gray matter, gray color thing. So those are basically the neurons' body, the nerve bodies. That is why we say that you're intelligent, so-called doctors, right? We are, with our westernization of our gray matter, what is happening? We are becoming more and more westernized. Not only in our clothings, but even in our behavior, right? We see everything in terms of money. What these actor, actress, sports people, that is why they are in advertisement. Part of terrible virus gang, right? So seeing that, we will wear our clothes, right? Both boys and girls. You will see now some horrible hairstyles also. You will see, I was really shocked when I was in my college. The trouser, one half is one color, other half is one color. Hair, end is one color, hair is other color. So funny people. For the first time in my life, when I went to college, I saw ladies smoking, and I was shocked. What is this? Because I never saw any girl smoking, right? So I was shocked. And so that is, girl smoking is a sign of what? Girl shredding clothes is a sign of what? That I am powerful, I am brave. They want to also show that, and men becoming arrogant is a sign of, again, the same thing. I am brave. So that is what is happening nowadays. Unfortunately, the movie stars, they will have to kill someone, they will have to jump from a mountain to show that they are hero, right? They have to have a few girls around them. So that is people whom we are trying to follow and imitate, and we are losing our own wealth, right? So we have to basically change our role models. That is very important in our life. So that is very, very important, because and with time these role models also keep changing. So we have to base our role models on something which is permanent. And what is permanent? The scriptures. So the role models which are there in scriptures, like Hanumanji, Arjun, Sudama, these should be our role models. Radharani, right? These should be our role models. So we should try to follow on their footsteps. Rather, we should see, please try to understand that sometimes it is following our own culture, it's little inconvenient, right? Better to just, what they say, live life, happy life, what king size and all this, there are many good slogans there. Huh? Enjoy and live happily, and what is this? Live life king size. Huh? So how they live? Different style of colors of hairs, right? Different. Now, when the jeans is torn, that is also a fashion. That I cannot understand. Those on 3-4 places, the body parts are not only girls, but even boys are wearing, right? And all these things, I don't know. In India, our beggars used to wear that type of clothes. Now, people who have money are also wearing those type of clothes, right? And what is happening is we are also following those people, right? Rather than following our own culture, which is so strong, which is very strong. That takes us to, it is, please try to understand what Krishna said in 3.10, that I created this material world for you to perform yajna. And our everything was around that thing. Our whole culture was not for material prosperity, because our whole culture was for facilitating us to go back to Krishna. That was the main thing. That is why our clothing, the way we greet everyone, namaste. What is this? Namaste means we are, even if you say your mother namaste, she will also say namaste. Why? Because namaste is to your soul. When we pay obeisances to devotees or to Guru, we are actually humbling ourselves. That was our culture. That is our culture. Nowadays, I'd see touching the feet of parents also is so difficult. If you say you touch feet of your elder brother, is out of the dream. Even touching feet of parents is so difficult. Huh? These things are gone. No, we are westernized. What is the use of these things? We don't understand. Each of those things make you humble. So those things are very important. Okay, so we'll move on to the next slide. Who will read this?
I will.
Go ahead, Ashwati.
Thank you. The Srimad Bhagavatam also affirms that one should follow in the footsteps of great devotees, and that is the way of progress on the path of spiritual realization. The king or the executive head of a state, the father and the school teacher are all considered to be natural leaders of the innocent people in general. All such natural leaders have a great responsibility to their dependents. Therefore, they must be conversant with standard books of moral and spiritual codes.
Right? Srimad Bhagavatam says that we should follow in the footsteps of great devotees, right? In order to progress in the spiritual path. And then what I just said, that our parents, the school teacher, everyone is an example for children. And we were children also, and we are parents also. So it is our duty. What we speak is not very important for our kids. Important is what we do, how we behave, because that is what they see. You can keep talking about high philosophy, but until you start acting, it will be all dry and it will be all put in the dustbin of no use. Chetan Charan Prabhu says, power of example is much greater than example of power. Power of example is much greater than example of power. Shanmukh-ji, we are talking about power of example is much greater than example of power. What does it mean? Power of example means if you have a good example in your life, right? Like Prabhupada, our Guru Maharaj, or some senior and sincere devotees, the way they are leading their lives, that is a great example for all of us to follow. Then the example of power. What is example of power? Sometimes you say, are you following my religion, or else I am going to shoot you? We have seen those type of fanatics also, right? So, you cannot bring anyone in spirituality with force. Not by example of power, but by power of example, right? So we should be role models for our children. And not only for our children, for society. That is our responsibility and duty. Okay, so we'll go ahead on the next slide. Who will read this verse?
I will try, Sunil.
Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. Nami pardhasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani.
Now, who will read the translation?
O son of Partha, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I a need to obtain anything, and yet I am engaged in prescribed duties.
Name parthasti kartavyam. I have no work which is prescribed for me. Trishu lokeshu kinchana. Not only in Dwarka, but all the three planetary systems. There is no work prescribed for me. Nana vaptam avaptavyam. That means, nor am I in want of anything, nor do I want to gain anything. Vart evacha karmani. Right? And yet, I am engaged in my prescribed duties. Now, this is for the first time Krishna is actually establishing his position of being Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is for the first time he is talking about himself in that position of being Param Purusha. Right? He has briefly introduced himself in 2.61, but not as directly as he does here. Right? O son of Pratha, there is no work prescribed. So, there is no prescribed. And then also he's engaged in what duty? He is a Kshatriya. So he's trying to protect people from these demonic kings like Duryodhan. Which is why Arjuna, also being a Kshatriya, he cannot run away from his responsibility. Right? How can you run away from your responsibility, Arjuna? How can you do that? You have to set a good example. Otherwise, tomorrow, if we have some problems in our house or in our workplace, we will also work away, saying that Arjuna also, he had so much problem, he was in distress, and he left the battlefield. And we will also leave our jobs and our house. Better to renunciate, live the Babaji life than to work. Better to be a Babaji than to live a Grahastha life. Grahastha ashram is meant for purification. How to tolerate ourselves, how to be patient, how to be humble. When your wife will say, "Arey Baba, don't show your intelligence, come and clean this." Right? A vice president of IT company, right? Cleaning the bathroom on the order of wife. That is what is humbling. Right? So that is what Grahastha ashram is all about. Huh? So that is very important for us. We cannot run away from it, saying that now I am a spiritualist. You may be a spiritualist, but do your basic responsibility. Because why? It is not that you are doing your basic responsibility for sense gratification or material enjoyment, right? You are doing in service of Krishna. You are not doing it independent of Krishna. And Krishna, now he says that although who can compare? Okay, Janak Maharaj and others, they may, find 10 reasons for them to be doing. But here Krishna gave his own example. Now, if Arjuna would have even some reasons to argue, now what will he do? People can compare themselves with other leaders or other people that, he is like that, I cannot, I cannot. Krishna says, can you compare now with me? What do I have to achieve or gain or to show someone something? Or do I have any responsibility? Then also I am engaged. Right? Very important verse. Okay, we'll move on to the next. So this is verse number 23 and 24. So who will read it?
For if I ever fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to renation. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings.
Right. So now Krishna is saying, why do I do what I do? Because if I fail, then certainly I will put all men to ruination, because they will say, Krishna also did that. So why should I not do this? Right? Do you all agree? Although there may be some, Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. Right? And if he does something, then people will like to follow that. So he says that because I'm acting, I've taken a human form, right? I have to act like a human being. Godascharati Vrishnisu, right? Confidentially living like a Vrishni. So if he is living amongst human beings, he will have to act. Otherwise, people will say, he also did that thing. In Bhagavatam, also it is said that, Krishna was daily performing his religious duties at home and also outside as required of a householder. He was living an exemplary life. Now, sometimes, people say that why did Krishna also broke some rules? Did he broke any rule?
No.
Huh?
I don't think so. But there is a purpose, if at all.
Right. Superficially, sometimes, superficially, it is visible sometimes. People don't understand. But these rascals, they will only find those things. Right? So, what happened? When Krishna stole butter, Krishna is also chore. Right? When Krishna danced with the gopis, right? Oh, he is also a dancer. Right? So that is what is highlighted. And you won't believe. Because, see, that is what is the cream of Bhagavatam. That Parikshit Maharaj, here Arjun, who is Parikshit Maharaj in relation with Arjun?
Grandson.
Grandson, right? Jaisa pita, vaisa beta. His pota. Parikshit Maharaj is whose son?
Abhimanyu.
Abhimanyu son, right? So, Maharaj Parikshit was a great devotee. Even in his womb, he had darshan of Krishna, right? So, from the womb also, he was a pure devotee because he had darshan of Krishna. When Ashwadhama shot the Brahmastra, Krishna went in the womb of Uttara to protect Parikshit Maharaj, right? So, when Sukdev Goswami was reciting the Ras Leela Adhyay in 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam from chapter 29 to 33, right? Parikshit Maharaj asked a question. Sukdev Goswami, I am little bewildered. Can you please explain why did Krishna, being a supreme personality of Godhead, perform the acts which visibly to me, he also used the words, visibly to me looks like immoral. And then there, Sukdev Goswami explains, it's like maybe verse number from 30th onwards, in the 33 chapter of 10th canto, that, see, we have to follow the instructions given by Krishna and the devotees. We can never imitate. If we try to imitate, we will never understand. We will only go to hell. For example, and he gave the example of whom you know, of Shivji. What did Shivji do? Which if we try to do, we will directly go to hell. What did Shivji do? Shivji drank what?
Allah.
Right?
Poison.
From Samudra Manthan.
From the churning of ocean.
Arey Baba, that was Shivji. You don't try to imitate Shivji. So you don't try to imitate Krishna or his devotees, is what Sukdev Goswami. Why? Now why? Please try to understand. Krishna is who? His partial manifestation is the Paramatma. And the innermost thing of someone is the heart. And Krishna is sitting there, heart. Right? Now, if that heart is coming out and doing something, is it immoral? Right? But for them, like for example, let me explain you. When our daughters, when they are small, we used to clean them up, right? So is it something wrong? For Krishna, who are we? Whatever relationship he is having is not from what our vision sees. First thing. Second thing is, Krishna, where did he do those activities? In Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, he had not yet taken any leadership position. He only started taking leadership position when he came to Mathura or Dwarka. Second thing. Third thing. Vrindavan is the arena of prema, while Dwarka and Mathura are the arena of religion. Vrindavan is a transcendental place which is not bound by the rules and regulations of this planet. While in Dwarka and Mathura, he will have to follow everything. While Vrindavan is independent of all the rules and regulations. Right? He only took, so these are some of the things which have been explained by Sukdev Goswami and predecessors Acharyas. Right? So that is very important. Now I will give you today's example. Like, okay, so if we move on to the next slide, what are you seeing here? What is this? Police car, some, right? Police van. Now how many of you have seen that when in India we have to follow the left lane, right? How many times you have seen that the police van is coming from the opposite direction? Or when the speed limit is 60, they are running at the speed of 100. How many times have you seen that? Many times. They are the lawmakers. And in order to protect the laws, they have to sometimes handle some things which they are not under the law. They are the protectors of the law. They have made the law. Now, if you tell because Narendra Modi is doing that, I will also do that. Then where will you will go in? Tihar jail. Don't try to imitate Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi is doing, he is going to here and there, and I will also follow. Then it will be a difficult position for us, right? So we cannot imitate the leaders. We have to follow what they are telling us, right? That is very important. So we will move on to the next slide. So setting example, right? A leader has to teach the public by his own practical behavior, right? That is what Krishna is saying. Even Krishna engages in work as there will be dire consequences if he fails to engage carefully in performing prescribed duty. All men will certainly follow my path. I would thereby destroy peace of living, right? Now, lawmaker is beyond law. We just saw. Although Krishna teaches us how to perform duties, but he sometimes acts independent of the law to please his devotees. Such actions, however, are not to be performed by those inferior to him. That is very careful. That is why, it is very important for us to first understand Krishna's position by studying Bhagavad Gita nicely, knowing the basic concepts, and then we will go to Bhagavatam, right? So first we understand Bhagavad Gita nicely, and then we touch upon Bhagavatam, right? Following versus imitating. Krishna lifted Govardhan hill and Shiva drank poison. So great personalities are unaffected by unconventional activities, which are not to be performed by you and me, right? That is very important. They are transcendentalists. They are supreme personality of God, whatever, right? We should not imitate those people. We should follow what they are telling us humbly. Okay. What to talk about Shiva and Krishna? Even when it comes to our Guru Maharaj and all, if you will try, you won't believe. Yesterday, a few days back, like we had to go to hospital for night thing and all. We came back 1 a.m., 2 a.m. What we will do? We have to sleep so that we can next day will be nicely. Now our Guru Maharaj, back to back, wherever he is in the world, whatever time he comes to the temple, whether it is 12, midnight, he sleeps 1 a.m., 2 a.m., he will be doing Mangal Aarti next day, back to back. I will give you one example. He came to Bangalore for 3 days and I was with him. It was his normal routine, doing this. After I dropped him, almost whole day I slept, whole day. And he has been living that life for almost 40, 50 years. So if we try to imitate those people, it will be like drinking poison. We have to follow their instructions. We should not think because he is doing, we have to do that. No. Whatever he is saying, you do that. That is important. Don't try to imitate. Huh? So that is a lesson. So we'll move on. This is this is the summary of what we studied today. So you click all these things, right? So self-realized person has no duty, right? Who is Atmatripta, Atmarati, and Atmatripta. We should work with detachment as a matter of duty, right? We learned that. How Prabhupada, don't use your own brain. Just follow the instructions, right? Setting an example. We all are leaders in our own capacity, right? Because common man will follow leaders. And even Krishna, he was very particular in what he did. And if you don't follow them, people generally follow the leaders. And devotees, they are at a very respectful position in the society. So we should be very careful. Okay. So any questions? Okay. So if not, Nikita, we will stop the recording.